Namaskar and welcome to the next episode of India Bounce Back. Once again, thank you so much for all the likes, all the shares, and all the love you are all giving to all the interviews. Thank you. Today, I have a wonderful gentleman, a very energetic, passionate, intellectual person, live from US right now with us, and he is having a wonderful concept. And today, I have a lot of good questions which uh, can inspire all the entrepreneurs who will watch this video right now, to all the people of business community. There's a lot to learn from this great gentleman. Okay, let me have a small professional introduction first. So after graduating from a tier 1 college, Nikhil realized that there are several students with entrepreneurial spirits who wants to experiment and explore their ideas and turn them into a workable model known as a pilot or a prototype. Now, blame it on accessibility of business acumenship or managerial knowledge in engineering colleges. Engineers didn't look like potential entrepreneurs back in 2014. I think I agree to this. To streamline this and bring in more visibility and access of business edge among students with great potential ideas, Nikhil, an industrial engineer with FCA USA, along with his friend, established WTG with a singular mission of accelerating growth of innovative startups. I think this is really now, as we are all going through this pandemic situation, and after every disruption, there is a change, and the change will be really, I think, where various articles which we are reading, I think there is a huge lot of opportunities for startups to come, and there is an organization who is ready to support in that. Nikhil, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for taking out time. I welcome you on behalf of my team to India Bounce Back.
Thank you, Anshulji. It's a great privilege to be a part of your India Bounce Back. It's a great initiative. It's an honor to be on your platform.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, Nikhil, quickly, what I read just now is a very small professional introduction, and I because I don't want to bore my audience, I really want to know the story of a young gentleman, how it all happened, your journey of education, struggles, challenges, and how you made it.
So just like every other, kid in India after high school, I got into engineering, be it parents' pressure or society's pressure. Engineering was always the, trademark to, set your career. So I've got into engineering as well. During my engineering days, there is this, I kept reading these articles in newspapers or interviews of different people, finding innovative, solutions for regular problems, everyday life. I was always fascinated by those. I always wanted to be a part of those startups. I myself had, maybe not so innovative, but good ideas that could actually save some environment issues, regular day-to-day issues. But then again, without, proper guidance and lack of support from, family and all, I couldn't achieve what I was trying to do. And after that, I had to go to my master's in US. Since I was a mechanical background, I got into industrial engineering. Other part that I was interested always in was cars. So I got into industrial engineering, and I started working with GM and FCA.
Wow.
But while my, doing my master's or my working through with FCA and GM, the entrepreneur in me did not die. I kept reading. I took different courses during my school, trying to learn about, small businesses, how startups work, what, and everything. So, right. So we so I always wanted to be, associated with startups. So that innovative, that young entrepreneur did not die inside me. And I kept reading articles, a recent one from TechCrunch said 70% of the startups were, running out of funds. Then I thought, okay, one of the ways to associate myself with the startup was, becoming an investor. I met different people here, my friends and colleagues who shared the same idea. They wanted to be a part of startup, but they didn't know how to do it. Since I did, all the background research and stuff, they said, okay, we will support you. Just guide us through. So people who have money itself needed some guidance. So, and if you look at the people, in India who are entrepreneurs, they needed some guidance as well, right? So I thought, okay, let's start a company to support, startups as an investor. We will provide funds and all. So we started a pitch me contest to get to know about the startups that are in India, right? So the turnout was tremendous. It was huge. But one common thing about these was most of them were not investment ready. The
Hmm.
startups were not. That was evident that these startups needed some kind of guidance. They needed somebody to show the right way to turn their idea into a pilot or in a working model. That made us improvise our investment model. We started services. We started. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect.
So
Yeah.
we started. So we started the pitch me contest, right? So since most of the startups were not investment ready, we decided, okay, we'll start a service based industry.
Hmm.
So we decided to offer services through our partner network through subscription model. So we took the subscription model so that we can allocate one resource from our end to each startup so that we can manage, understand, and update with regards to turning the idea into investment ready. In India right now, there is not even a single firm which actually nurtures and supports any startup through ideation phase. And supporting a startup through ideation phase is the base of WTG, which actually made us feature in your story. In WTG, we provide services such as tech support, GTM strategy, business plans, financial supports, investment supports, and currently we are actually working towards creating an ecosystem for startups where we support them through their ideation stage to working model, be it financials again, projections, marketing strategies, research assistance, funding, business plans.
Okay,
We are
great.
about there right now. Yeah.
Great, 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 great. I think I think that's really a need of the hour as well. Now, could you please elaborate more about this ideation phase? Because I really uh, coming from the same business consulting background, I'm as a consultant for long years now. I also understand the power and the importance of this phase. So how actually you are helping, and any kind of success story or anything which you really want to share?
Sure, yeah. So ideas can come from any person. Basically, our ideas are generated based on the problem statements. And this cannot be achieved, the solution for the problem statement cannot be achieved by one single person.
True.
Okay, I know my problem statement. I know what the solution is. I can work on it. But for example, I am a techie. Okay, so there is an issue, and I know how to find a solution for it. I found the solution. I created an app for myself, and I know it will work. I just know that part. It's not mandatory that I know how to go into the market. What is my business case? What are my future projections? Right. So I, as a person, will need some support because business is not my expertise. Techie is my expertise, and I'm good at it. But all the other aspects, marketing, how to approach investors, and business case, you need to write your business case before, that is the first thing you do in your ideation phase. So we will provide services for such people. I just gave you an example of a techie, but there could be somebody who actually is a business background, but then he has a solution, but he doesn't know how to work on it.
Yeah.
So we provide assistance in, creating a team who have a similar goal, who can actually work together for that one solution. Financials. I have a group of investors with me right now, and yes, from after you do that ideation phase, you have to show results when you're going into, for second phase or interviews. Basically, we concentrate on seed investment, turning the idea into pilot, show some results, and take those results to investors and venture capitalists so that, hey,
And put this.
this is my problem statement, this is my solution, and these are my results. Based on my results, these are my projections, and I got these projections based on this data, and I require some funding. So that's how we, in every step we support each and every startup.
Wow, wow, wow. Great, great, great. Okay, so moving ahead now, one question I think which I maybe from this is core from an experience perspective, maybe a traditional question. See, uh, we are from the land of India, where gurus, mentors are respected and taught, or respected in a whole different way. The history is different today. The current scenario is different for some people. Yes, now there is a huge need of right mentoring, right coaching, right educating these people, so-called startups, who are really enthusiastic about their ideas. They really want to do something big, but most of the time, as a consultant, wherever I've been invited in different forums and different, you know, contests and quizzes to be a part of them, I realize this one element. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but I'm just giving a perspective that most of them, they have that inhibition, or they have this thought process that, you know, they know it all.
Yes.
Correct. So today I want you to address this from your experience. I know it all attitude. I don't seem, because क्या है ना कि हमारा नेचर, हमने गुरु को गुरु माना तो शायद आज हम कुछ सीख भी पाए हैं. Honestly, you know, I still respect each one of my teacher. I have really learned them. और जब मैंने सीखा तो मैंने उसको फॉलो किया. ये जो I know it all attitude है, is this a challenge in your business as well when you approach to people?
It is actually. So people approach me asking for investment funds and all for seeds for, pilot phase and all that, right? So I looked at their pitch deck, and obviously they were missing few stuff, and their projections were, missing. It was baseless basically. When I started, hey, you need some support. This is not the right way and all. They showed me that attitude. Hey, I'm right. I know everything. I was like, I was recollecting myself. So back in India, I probably had the same idea. My mentality was the same as well. Once I got into masters and all, I started seeing life. Now I don't hesitate to say, hey, I don't know. Can you help me? I never hesitate anymore. So for these guys, I started asking them questions. Got to the basics. He said, there is this principle called 5I. So he said, these are my projections. I was like, why? Where'd you get your projections from? Then he said so and so. And then I asked something else about it. What's the, credibility of those data and all that. So I got down so deep that they actually started to realize, okay, there's something that I am missing actually, which actually, I should say, was good on some people, and some people it was like, no, I won't agree with you. I'll just keep to,
The same.
what I have is right. I won't follow you. I won't agree with you. All that. It People have to change their attitude. If somebody is suggesting you something, giving you or showing you some light, agree or disagree, but at least try to understand what the other person is telling you. Apply that, compare what you're doing, see if it's actually, good or bad. Take the good from it, leave the bad, and then, improve yourself. That's what I feel.
True. So from this conversation, this is one suggestion or a request to all the aspiring startups and entrepreneurs in the country. As a coach, I'm not saying, buy or services, or neither I'm supporting or promoting his brand or my brand or anything like that. What I'm trying to say, that we have got a beautiful culture of, where gurus are considered, all the rajas, kingdoms, जितने भी बड़े राजा थे, महाराजा थे, वो लोग भी वो एक अहमियत को समझते थे. So today, education is more important, and rather with that education, a strong belief in your mentor is important. You take time in analyzing your mentor in your own way, correct? But once you are taking services, but once you are, don't doubt too much, because if you doubt, you will never be able to take 100% from that person. This is the same with my profession as well, Nikhil. There are many people I coach, and if they keep on evaluating me, I say, once I used to tell them that evaluate me once and for all. Take 1 month, take 45 days, ask me any questions you want, evaluate me. But once we start working, don't evaluate, then believe. If you don't believe, you will never receive, and you will never be able to take 100% out of me.
Very
So
true, yeah.
I think this is a strong request come message to all the entrepreneurs who's right now trying to build their businesses. Find out good mentors, find out wonderful people like Nikhil, who really have that idea, who really came into business to support. Although they have a business model which is commercially aligned, but the basic value is, or the basic thought process is to support. I think, am I right, Nikhil?
You're right, yeah.
Okay, so now next is, every business has I told you that we heard this statement multiple times: bigger the challenge, bigger the hero. Okay, bigger the challenge, bigger the hero. If you are able to do something big, that means you have faced bits of challenges, dissatisfactions, failures, any things. So I want to know, what was the bounce back moment of your life when there was an unclear path, when there was a lot of doubts, people were having doubts, situations were not in favor, but still you worked and you bounced back.
Starting WTG was my biggest bounce back. Just like, regular people, just did my engineering, then came to masters, and then started working here. And one day I was just sitting in a corner. I always worked in launch, so that actually helped me. I was sitting in a corner looking at the new car building. I had tons of people around it who were actually supporting it. Every time somebody has an issue, there is somebody who actually said, okay, this is a solution for it, let's do this. Right? So I was sitting there and I was like, what am I doing here? Startups was always my intention. And I'm here working, I was looking through something that actually had support and stuff. That gave me this idea. Maybe I should support startups, guide them, provide some assistance, somehow do something, associate myself with startups. And then I ran this idea, but with my brother and my family back in India. And obviously they were hesitant because I had a good job here in US. They wanted me to settle back in US. When you're pretty much settled in life, why would you want to take that risk?
True.
Right? So, but I believe the bigger the risk, the bigger the results. So the rewards are good too. Yeah. So, right. So, uh, I started, okay, maybe I should not talk much about this to my family. I spoke to a couple of friends of mine in India and, who's getting updates about every, current happenings around the startups. And then I started talking to my friends over here in US who were actually, interested in startups as well. So we had this brainstorming session. What can we do? What can happen? And all that, right? So we had a game plan, but then starting a company in India while you're working a full-time job in US was the toughest part.
True.
My friends were poking me. Hey, what happened? We discussed about it. What's holding you? Let's start it. Let's start it. But I cannot get into business without having a proper game plan. It took me over a year just to plan everything in place. Plan everything and then put everything in place. Talk to the right people. Finding the right people was the challenge for me. There was actually I was in India for about 2 months, and that's when I actually met a lot of people and I found the right contacts. Now things started to fall in place, and then pandemic hit. Since we were turning out to be an investors, we thought, okay, pandemic, there is a cash crunch in India, especially in the startup market. Maybe this is the right time.
Yes.
So okay, let's go it. Let's do it. We got into the market and the response was huge.
Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. Uh, Next question. Very typical question. I think you might have got back. What few mistakes you have witnessed as an entrepreneur, or right now, what you have witnessed as people who are approaching you, or you are approaching them as startups or entrepreneur, doing more frequently, and how you have avoided those mistakes?
For me, I think two are major mistakes that quite a lot of entrepreneurs make. One is pivoting. There is a certain stage, after you reach a certain stage, you have to evolve. You reach the level with your core basics, that's good. But then to reach to your next level, you need to evolve. You need to change your business ideas, adapt what the current scenarios in the market, Example, this pandemic, nobody was expecting it, right? Pandemic happened. So what did you change about yourself because of the pandemic, right? So the other part of pivoting is you are supposed to avoid the mistakes that you already made. Learn from your past and then fix it and make sure that you don't do the same mistakes in the future.
Okay.
Apart from these two, there's another one: patience and persistence. People, for some reason, tend to give up soon. If you have a vision, stick to it. Yes, you can do multiple things at the same time, like I did. Have a career set, and then at the same time work on a different thing that you love. For example, if you take a working professional during this pandemic, people lost jobs, and jobs were the only source of income for them. The way I would look at it, it's a time to learn.
True.
Don't rely on your job too much. Also do something that you actually love, be it entrepreneurship or something else, anything that you love. Those are the things that I think a lot of entrepreneurs are
I'm missing.
not following, but yes.
Okay. So, to all what you have been able to achieve so far with your team, with your partner, and everything, if you have to give credit to your success to 5 qualities or skills, okay, what would be that? What all qualities will get that credit?
Yeah. Qualities, right?
Qualities or skills?
One thing would be patience and persistence, I would say, because I never wanted to give up. Like, I wanted to start this. Okay, let's do it, no matter what. Maybe it takes a year, it takes 2 years, I don't care. But in life, I want to do this, I will do it. So having that patience to work for so long, and being persistent to not give up, that is one of the major quality, I believe. And the next one would be looking at things in a more realistic way. That way, I wouldn't jump to any conclusions right away. I would look at the reality, understand it. So, okay, what's happening around me? What's the good? What's the bad? And then, based on what I observe and learn, I come to a conclusion and do accordingly. Coming to an organization, it is not about one organization. It is about the people in the organization.
True.
So if you look at a family, siblings in a family don't stand on one opinion. Now, if coming to an organization, there are tens and hundreds of people in any organization. So to lead them, to stand on one vision, managing everyone, motivating them, and modeling them, that is something, I would say. And then figuring out the thumb rules to not repeat the same mistakes that you did before. If you did a mistake, nothing wrong. Learn and make sure that you don't repeat the mistake and move on. That's it.
True.
And the other one is Technology. Technology as an enabler helps us to focus on solving the actual problems in most efficient ways, I would say. So yeah, those I think are my top five qualities.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. And I think to all the viewers, amongst all these, the first one which he started is a very, very important one. Patience and persistence. The time is tough, uh, and in this tough time, the reptilian brains activate most. And when it activates, we are not able to work cognitively, or in a emotional way, in a right way. I think this is the time where we really need to have that patience and persistence, because there is no immediate solution. This situation has an impact, and it will stay with us. Now, how soon we are able to bounce back, and how persistently or patiently we will be, or consistently we'll be doing certain activities for a long time, get clarity, and then stick to it. I think. Thank you, Nikhil, for these wonderful qualities, and the way you shared it with uh, all my viewers. So now moving to the next part of the interview. This is a round which is called the rapid fire round. So what I will do is I will make it a little more interesting. I will ask one word to you, and what first word or sentence comes in your mind by after listening that word, you have to just say that. You don't have to think much.
Okay, yeah, sure.
That's okay. So the first one, school,
Education,
uh, engineering,
fun.
University of Texas, Texas,
That's life. That actually taught me life. University of Texas.
WTG,
Passion, love, my
Hyderabad.
goal. Hyderabad
Sorry.
biryani.
Yeah.
Biryani. Apart from startups and all, I love food. So biryani is one of my favorites. But being from Hyderabad, I always loved Hyderabad biryani.
Wow. Wow. Startups,
Guidance, innovation, huge capacity to turn India into a economic power in the world.
wow.
Job creation,
India,
home, home sweet home.
education for entrepreneurs and businessmen.
It is a must during young age. I would say your undergraduation, it's a must. Everyone should get these basics at least, at least to ignite the entrepreneurship inside every person. And who are actually trying to pursue it, it's like a basic guide. Okay, at least they know something. I don't think so. As of right now, we don't. We have any undergraduate courses that are actually
Yeah.
having this course. I don't think so.
There's no much, but I think there,
Yeah.
because in India you can't say there is no. In the any nook, any corner on or part, you will find somebody doing something, and think that we're so big. Okay, innovation.
Technology, robotics, problem solving.
Great. Education as a whole.
It's a must, but it's not the only source of knowledge.
True, true. Your promoter or your partners.
My friends, my shoulders when in tough times, my guidance.
Great. Last but not the least, about our initiative, India Bounce Back.
India was a great initiative. I think it's a must of the hour right now. I actually love the concept. I feel this as a brainstorming session. You have a bunch of people from different backgrounds,
True.
different life experiences, different knowledges, different perspectives coming together, putting out their thoughts and opinions about what they have. Take the good stuff out of it, learn from it, apply those good thoughts in your day-to-day life, be it your professional life or your personal life. Improve as an individual, as a professional, for a better community, but for a better country, for a better future.
Wow. Such an amazing response. Thank you so much. Thank you. It really means a lot. Okay, now moving to the phase three of this interview. Now, it is all about what all we have faced, encountered in last 4 and 5 months during this pandemic time, and how we see the new normal evolving. So the first question is, how, according to you, the last 5 months have impacted the startup ecosystem, and what impact it had on you as an individual, as an entrepreneur?
Entire country was impacted because of COVID. I shouldn't say country, but the whole world is impacted
Yes.
in many different ways. There is a huge cash crunch. Investors are not ready to invest. Everything is at freeze right now. And I read an article from TechCrunch that says about 70% are running out of funds, and probably a good 15% of the startups are shutting down their services. It could be due to lack of funds. It could be something else, but it was a severe impact on startup community. And as an individual, as an entrepreneur, I believe that everyone should hold in there, hang in there. I believe this is the right time. 5 months, if you're halting your services, this is a great opportunity for you to improvise your business case, your basics, right? Improve. Okay, you had a plan, but then pandemic happened. Now, what did you learn from the pandemic? What are you trying to do to improve your startup? What are you trying to do to make sure that this doesn't happen? Maybe there is another pandemic in the next 1 year. We don't know that
True.
because we keep reading news from China, a new virus is emerging and all that, right? So another pandemic might be around the corner sometime. What are you doing to make sure that another pandemic is not stopping you? That is something I believe all these entrepreneurs need to look at right now. That's the way I am looking at it right now. And for me to start WTG during this pandemic was also one of the reasons. It actually turned out to be good for me because there was nobody in the market who was, or I should say, not nobody, but there were only few people who in the market who were investing in startups even during the pandemic.
Hmm.
I am one of those. I wanted to support and help these startups, and I am doing it. So everybody should hang in there, be persistent, have some patience, and during this down hour, work on the things to improve yourself since you have time right now.
True. 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 I think this is really a good insight. I think to all the viewers who are watching right now, if you know some startups, or if you're a startup who's watching right now, this is really a time of introspection, because today, as we all say, as we you all use that word called, we are living in a VUCA world where there is too much of volatility, complexity, ambiguity, around, and uncertainty. So when we are in a world where a small thing, where a small act happened in a small city of China can put the whole world to a standstill, anything can come in the future. So I think we need to also look not from the immediate business perspective. Yes, immediate business is equally important for survival, but what is more important, I think, from the Nikhil's point, that we need to be prepared for the future, for all the uncertainties, and it's a high time for you to invest in your learning, invest in your again going into that brainstorming zone to create a good plan for yourself. So, how do you see now, Nikhil, the world of startups, entrepreneurship, evolving post COVID or towards the new normal?
Mm,
There
COVID,
is a hit.
obviously,
There is a hit. There is a challenge. The new startups are going through a very tough and a bad phase. We can use the word bad as well. There is a whole lot of discontentment or dissatisfaction. Correct. So as a mentor, when you're doing all that, how do you see the new normal evolving for startups and entrepreneurs?
so startup community is coming back around. a little slower pace right now, but then it's coming back up. That's good signs. People are, working on people are starting their services, and investors are looking at different startups to invest in. All right. So, as we discussed earlier, COVID had a huge impact on startups.
True.
Like I said, they need to prepare for the future to make sure that nothing is, a similar situation might arise anytime. Be prepared so that you won't come to a sudden halt like we did today. And now talking about bounce back of startups, if startups actually worked on, rewriting their business cases, coming with a new plan or evolving as themselves, those startups actually have a high rate of success right now, I would say. But they need to keep that for longer run as well, because other economic times and all, other good established firms are actually saying that it takes about 7 years for any startup to achieve that unicorn state.
True.
But then about 40% of them are shutting down their services in the first 3 years. Because I would say let the entrepreneurs plan for the long run, like 10 years down the line, but prepare for the short, like the pandemic. Anything can happen. So if you follow that procedures, I think you have a greater success rate.
So I think now when you are doing a mentoring for them, when you are guiding them, I think initial in the brainstorming phase, you also keep this in mind now. I think
Yes.
guiding them for planning for this element of uncertainty.
Yes. During this pandemic, we had certain regulations, right? Like 6 feet and sanitizing everything that you touched or somebody else touched. We had startups where, I cannot reveal the idea, but where one product is being used by multiple people, one after the other. It could be one after the other or everyone at the same time. So how would you implement the 6 feet distancing or the sanitization part when so many people are using the same product? That was one of the greater challenges, for which we actually came up with some innovative ideas. Having small pouches in between, sanitization wipes, stack the product and make sure. That was one solution. The other one was, okay, there should be a timely gap in between person A using it, between person B using it. So necessity drives everything.
True.
You
True.
need to do it, right? So you come up with some innovative ideas when you are down deep and you have nowhere else to go.
True. 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 So, although we all are positive, but I really want to know really want a reaffirmation from you. Are you confident that India will bounce back?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Without
If
doubt.
you look at the history,
Hmm.
we always bounce back.
True.
A lot of kings, neighboring countries and all invaded us, looted us, destroyed us, but we always came back.
True.
Similarly, this pandemic is a kind of enemy that we cannot see. We will obviously, and I am confident about it, that we will bounce back. Bouncing back is in our DNA, I feel.
True. 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 Very true. Now, what role as an entrepreneur, as an influencer, as a contributor, as WTG, you think you are going to play an overall role in the new normal? You and WTG both.
I would like, or I should say, we would like to, mentor and guide as many startups as we can, considering that we learned a lot from the pandemic and the situation. We did quite a lot of research on all the startups that actually failed, the reasons why they failed. We have case studies that say, hey, we have case studies about the mistakes that previous startups that failed did, what they did wrong, and what were they supposed to do, right? Like I mentioned before, make sure that you don't repeat your mistakes again. So we have a whole list of mistakes that entrepreneurs actually do. Our main, when it comes to mentoring, we make sure that our startups do not commit these mistakes. And if they have any, suggestions or innovative thought process, we encourage them. So we want to show them the right way. And while doing that, we also want to invest in startups, help them, support them, writing business cases or technology support. At this point, after this pandemic, there is a lot of, positivity, or I should say, scope of business for techies,
True. True.
technology startups, because
Yes.
everyone wants to work from home. Everybody wants Swiggy. It's an app. It's a technology thing, right?
True.
So similarly, there is a huge scope for all technology-based startups. For those guys, just don't give up yet, I would say. And yeah, we will support as many startups as we can, work with them, make sure they don't make mistakes, and see them flourish.
Wow. Wow. Good. 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 That's a good message to all now, to all the viewers, startups, entrepreneurs. If you're really trying to start a new venture, or you're in a planning mode and you really want to launch something from the technology front, you know, uh, don't stop innovation, don't stop brainstorming, don't lose patience, don't lose hope. There is going to be a great future, and there is a team who is ready to support them. You just need to be at the right place at the right time, meeting the right people. Okay, great. So Nikhil, moving to the end of this interview, I last question is, what would be your top 5 messages, or top 5 key message for the people of India?
The first thing I would say, start supporting local businesses,
True.
be it brands or businesses. Start supporting local. Out
Up.
here in the West, people have this, be American, buy American.
True.
We should probably start that in India. I know Prime Minister Narendra Modi has started Make in India, and he's Startup India. He's supporting all these great initiatives, for people to use Indian-made products and actually support Indian businesses, right?
True.
So
True.
I think we should all follow that. That's one of the major, you know, economical backbone of India, I would say.
Nikhil, one question coming up. So do you
And
also have, do
sure,
you also have any plan in WTG to support this kind of an initiative right now?
sure, yeah.
Okay.
The whole purpose of us starting WTG in India was to help all the startups in India right now.
Yeah.
We did, we did get startups, US and other countries approaching us, but our main priority has always been India and Indian market.
Okay, great.
India has a lot of scope,
True.
so we want to exploit that. Make
True.
sure all our startups are, going good. They grow up and they flourish instead of just copying the West.
True. True. So second message.
Think big, think long term, and be prepared for short term. I'm sure people actually, entrepreneurs and startups, they think big for sure. Do they think long term? Yeah, I should say, but I'm sure they're not prepared for the short term. Example is the pandemic. It screwed everyone. So yeah, I would say be prepared for the short, think big, and think long term. And then we all must work together to start think like one nation as India, without having any differences between communities or between states, between people. I would say think as one India. That's it.
True. True. True.
That would actually make quite a difference. I believe that.
I really vouch.
Thank you.
I really second your thought, and I'm really want to, just stopping in between, because, this is no, I'm not saying this statement just because I don't like that, but I feel jealous when I read in various American books that, we are living that American dream. We are living that American dream. We are living that American dream. Why don't we all have an Indian dream? Why we just in work in bits and pieces? Why not drive? I really, initially the thought process when I started this talk show, when I wanted to start rally rather, so it was like I was inspired by different talk shows, so I thought of naming it with my name, that Dr. Anshul Dhingra's talk show or something like this, or a fireside chat with Dr. Dhingra, something like this. But then I realized that it's time not for me to showcase my name or something like this. This is a time where I think an initiative, I must start from the core of my heart to drive India, to drive the thought process of India. And I really request everyone, I have done it multiple times, still I'm doing, just because you just mentioned this, in America, there are people, they talk a lot about that American dream. They have a dream for their America. We also should, be it in any part of the world we are, or any part of India we are, whatever kind of business we are doing, we are professionals, students, or whosoever we are, we should have an Indian dream. Bigger than these politics, bigger than these all small petty issues. When we are all aligned, having that patriotism, I think that can make a lot of difference.
You're absolutely right.
Correct.
I believe we can see that one day. I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a slow process, but yes, we will get there. I'm sure about it.
We will get it. We all need to push that. Acha, moving ahead. Your next message.
I think everyone should foster a positive and can-do spirit in the society. People, obviously, it could be external sources, or you yourself having your internal thoughts, or maybe I cannot do it, or maybe I can do it. Having that negative thoughts, stop having those negative thoughts. Always think in the positive. If you like something, if you want to do something good, again, do it. If you have consequences, or if you're looking at a downward path, stop there for a second. Think about what you're doing, what's going on, what you need to do. Bounce back.
True.
I think people should have that positive attitude.
True.
Never give up.
True.
The other one would be industries like agri-based or urban development, tourism, infrastructure. They have a great potential, to take forward the economy of the country, employment generation. I think we need more startups in this sector.
This sector, yes.
So if anybody is doubting themselves to start a startup in any of these sectors, I think don't doubt yourself, just do it.
True. And just coming to the end of this interview, Nikhil, this is going to be one request of, my personal request, whenever you get an opportunity or create an opportunity, because the last statement, what you said, is really very, very crucial for India right now. Tomorrow on 25th here, we are having a bandh because the farmers are protesting against the government. They are not getting, there's a huge chaos right now in Haryana and Punjab, where farmers are not getting the due of all their whatever efforts they are doing. I think we need to, as a startup or entrepreneurs, we really need to work on certain great solutions for this, and there is a huge scope, because government is still not able to figure out how to solve these problems. There are a lot of hopes, वो subsidies आ जाएंगी या वो कुछ ना कुछ on the spot एक grant आ जाता है, but there are ways where we can actually do all that streaming in a right way, all the things. There are few efforts which have been done, but nothing concrete has happened. I think this is a request from my side and from my all viewers, as you're mentoring a lot of startups, encourage people to come into that zone, try to understand this situation from the core and try to figure out solutions how we can really support farmers. I think you might have heard about cases of suicides in Maharashtra. The farmer suicides are getting increased because the people work a lot. We can sit in our offices wearing suits and everything and can discuss about nation and global issues, but when it comes to the ground root level, the people, these people, they do a lot of hard work. And being from a farmer family, I understand, still we own lands. There are people who work on our land, and I really see the kind of efforts they're doing. So I think this is, I really want to request you rather, and just say that, do something for this, Nikhil.
Absolutely, yes. I myself am coming from a farming background. My dad was a farmer once upon a time, so
wow.
I know what you're saying. I've seen my farming runs in my family.
Sure.
I get it. A lot of farmers don't get the value of their efforts.
True. True.
Government alone cannot do everything.
True.
As an individual, as a, we need food, right? As an individual, it's our duty to take care of our farmer.
True.
And yes, we do have startups coming up. I actually have multiple startups which are farming background, agri-based startups, which are coming forward to support farmers, which would actually benefit a lot of these farmers. So yes, people are coming up, but we need more
We
numbers.
need more numbers.
I would definitely recommend agri-based startups.
True. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nikhil. Last 3 words to sum up everything. 3 words for for my all the viewers who are watching right now. 3 words.
India, let's bounce back.
India, let's bounce back. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was really a pleasure talking to you, Nikhil. Thank you for taking out time, sharing all these wonderful interviews. To all the viewers who are watching right now, encourage encourage startups or enthusiastic startups. Do get in touch with them, understand how it operates, and really this is a time where we need to learn a lot, and we really need to bounce back. And there is no second thought that India will not bounce back. So India will bounce back, and no one can stop it. Stay tuned for the next episode of India Bounce Back with another eminent personality sharing his life journey, his experience, and how the new normal will look like with his positive perspective. Thank you. Stay safe and work towards your progress. Thank you, Nikhil, once again. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for having me. It's a privilege being on your platform. It's
Wish
a great
you-
initiative. I'm lucky to be on it.
Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Keep encouraging people, guide a lot of people. It's required, and let's together create the country which our country truly deserves.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.